walk down here, there was definitely you could not drive. So that was pretty much the story down here at Market Square. Very, very good police protection, and if nothing else, extremely profuse police protection. There were a lot of police down here. Crowd broke up early. That's the story right now from Market Square. I'm Pat Crosby reporting live with the second Mobile Eye downtown. Marlin?
Thank you, Pat. Well, Steeler television parties were also held all over town today, and Harold Hayes this evening got a chance to see a rather unusual gathering at the Trafford Triangle Tavern.
While the Steelers were planning their strategy against the Rams tonight, there was a huddle of sorts here in traffic. Remember these guys from the North Irwin Fire Department who shaved and painted their heads? They did it all for tonight.
Watching the game with this team was an experience. I had to remind myself that these helmets didn't slip off, they peeled off. As befits true sportsmen, the team held on to the confidence that the Steelers would pull through, though their friends sometimes couldn't stand the emotional valleys and peaks of this game. Surprisingly enough, there was a Rams fan in this crowd, but he had to bow to the wishes of the majority, a group led by a team best described as the latex linebackers.
We're going to do it next year. We're going for the 5th year, and we're going to do it again. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the greatest in the world.
How can I lose when we do something like this for our team?
Your helmet's cracking a little, though.
Steelers are #1.
When the team gets serious, they remind the kids that they shouldn't try these antics. They say stunts like these should be reserved for some enthusiastic volunteer firemen in North Irwin. Harold Hayes, TV2 Eyewitness News.
You know, John, they just might start a fad.
That's unbelievable. Wait a minute.
Ta-da!
Are we #1?
We are #1. No doubt about it.
No doubt about it, and we'll show you exactly how we did it when Eyewitness News continues.
You know, John, I think we're lucky we all have voices.
This pass, close to the goal line, is deflected. It goes up in the air. Rod Perry picks it off. And the Rams were still ahead by 2 going into the 4th quarter. The last 15 minutes belonged to Terry and the Steelers and John Stallworth, who almost matched his 75-yarder of a year ago. Watch the catch. Beautiful catch, 73 yards on the play. Pittsburgh was on top, this time to stay, 24-19. The Rams would cross the goal line no more in Super Bowl XIV. Jack Lambert tapped a super season for him with this interception. Starts to lateral, then keeps it. The Steelers had the football again, and they would score again, thanks again to John Stallworth. Over the head catch, 45 yards on this play. An interference call put it at the 1. Franco Harris then scored his 2nd touchdown. It was all over. Steelers had the Rams, and with the extra point coming up by Matt Barr, they also had the spread. A little bit of celebration, too. How about that? It remained only to hold off the Rams a little longer and watch the clock run down on another piece of history. Bradshaw wins his 2nd straight MVP award. Stallworth could have gotten it. Harris set more records. Green broke out his Coke smile on the way to the locker room. The Steelers will be partying tonight, and it may just be the sweetest victory of them all.
I'm not sure it's real yet. I feel beautiful. I feel wonderful. Pittsburgh Steelers have so many ball players, so many outstanding football players. Today, a lot of the guys didn't play as well as we would have liked to, but we got a lot of good football players.
It was one of the toughest Super Bowls I've ever played in. First half, we didn't really take control of them. Had excellent field position, just could not cash it in. But we started hitting the scrimmage against the man coverage, and they gave a delayed blitz. I saw it right at the very last and saw Swan break for the post. I didn't see the reception, so I didn't see it again here, so I don't know how he caught it, but I heard it was a tip ball, and he made a great catch.
Did you know that the pressure then was on you? You were going to have to carry the load?
I felt like it was going to be on me. It was no different than the beginning of the season when Lynn was hurt initially, and we played about 4 or 5 games without him, and I started catching a few more passes. It's nothing that I hadn't done all year, and I was up to the task today. We have been running a lot of patterns to the outside, just regular hooks from the slot, and they just miscovered me then. I got open for the touch.
I thought that our defense didn't play with the intensity that we're accustomed to playing with. and I was somewhat concerned about that fact. But I think we came out in the second half and played Steeler football.
Vince Ferragamo driving the team, Jack, and you come up with the key interception. Explain the defense and exactly what happened. We'll roll the play out.
Well, there's what we call our reverse coverage, where I'm responsible for the deep middle. We worked against that pass all week long, and I stepped right in front of the receiver coming across the middle. I guess Ferragamo never saw me.
Moving the ball the first half, we were doing certain things, but we just, like that little bit of something was missing. We came in the second half, we were behind. Sure, you get nervous, but hey,
Run by Wendell Tyler, the game's leading rusher. A few plays later, Cullen Bryant powered his way into the end zone, and the Rams led 7-3. Pittsburgh then took the following kickoff, and the Steelers too drove for a touchdown, with Franco Harris going the final yard. Los Angeles retaliated with a tying field goal, and then Dave Elmendorf intercepted a Terry Bradshaw pass, setting up a 13-10 halftime lead for Los Angeles on Frank Corral's 45-yard field goal. Gamblers may have been surprised, but Bradshaw wasn't.
I told you guys all week long this was not going to be easy.
Bradshaw felt a little better when Larry Anderson, brilliant on kickoff returns all day, took the second half kickoff and ran it back 35 yards, setting the stage for a play that Joe Green says shook the Steelers' defense out of its lethargy.
The big factor for our defense was Lynn Swann catching that pass, that touchdown pass. Yes, that was a tremendous motivational factor there.
The play Joe Green loved.
It was a blitz, and Terry read the blitz, and I read the blitz. I read the coverage. I ran the post pattern.
Los Angeles came back with a nifty play of its own. A halfback pass, Lawrence McCutcheon to Ron Smith, giving the Rams a...
The ball just landed right in there. It was an easy catch, I thought, and just a matter of outrunning everybody else.
The Rams still had a chance, but rookie Vince Ferragamo, who played a fine game, suffered his first interception, the pass picked off by Jack Lambert. Some people thought that clinched Pittsburgh's victory, but not Lambert.
No, sir, I did not. I was still pretty concerned.
Even Lambert grew confident, however, when Bradshaw and Stallworth struck again for a long game. Then, after a questionable interference call, Franco Harris claimed his second touchdown, and Lynn Swann claimed the Steelers were the best team ever.
I think the Steelers in the last 6 years have been the best team ever to play in the National Football League. I think we've played the type of football, the consistently good football, that gives us the right to say that we were the best football team ever to take a football field.
Dick Schaap is still recovering from the game in California. Good morning, Dick. I'd like to say that it's my canny observation that the home team did real well yesterday, both of them.
They did. The Rams were very good to stay that close to the Steelers. They were in the game right until the last minute. I think the best thing was that it was a dramatic game. There was nothing boring about this game. And some of the greatest excitement in the game was provided by Lynn Swann and by John Stallworth with their pass catching. Swann and Stallworth are still awake. They haven't been asleep yet. They're going to join me here in the studio in a little while, and we'll be talking to you. They'll be discussing their impressions of the game.
We hope at least one of the three of you stays awake for that long. You haven't been to bed either, have you?
No, but I've closed my eyes occasionally and thought about the game.
You've been thinking about the fans, too. The Embraceable U's looked great. How did the Pittsburgh fans deport themselves?
Well, the Pittsburgh fans were as enthusiastic as always, waving their towels. They did get a little bit depressed at halftime when their team was 3 points behind, but I think they had as much confidence as their players did, and the fans came out strong for the second half, too. They celebrated here in Los Angeles, but they probably celebrated with a little more enthusiasm in Pittsburgh.
Have a cup of coffee on us, Dick. See you in a little bit.
It was a wing-ding of a game, and here for the story, of course, Ray Gandolf.
Jed, Super Bowl XIV in Pasadena was one of the great ones. The Los Angeles Rams, reviled and ridiculed even in their own pasture all season, played the Pittsburgh Steelers more than even for 3 quarters before being beaten by perhaps the greatest collection of players not on bubblegum cards. After the Steelers had gone ahead on a field goal, the Rams showed that at least on this occasion, by Wendell Tyler, the steel curtain defense could be penetrated. That 40-yard gainer led to the Rams' first touchdown, a bullish effort by Cullen Bryant, and a 7-3 lead after the first quarter. In the second quarter, Franco Harris made it 10-7 Pittsburgh. After a field goal tied it, Dave Elmendorf made one of the Rams' 3 interceptions of Bradshaw. And Frank Corral with another field goal that just slipped inside the post. put the Rams ahead at the half, 13-10. Third quarter, Pittsburgh and young Vince Ferragamo, except for Joe Namath, the youngest man ever to quarterback a Super Bowl team, unloaded one to Billy Waddy for 50 yards. The Rams pondered the playbook, came up with a halfback option pass. Lawrence McCutcheon to Ron Smith, and L.A. had removed their double coverage. Down 24-19, the Rams were alive and driving, but Jack Lambert made the defensive play of the game, the only interception against Ferragamo. And then Bradshaw flung again to Stallworth, who apparently caught the ball with his face guard, an extraordinary catch by an extraordinary man. The only people remaining to be satisfied were the people who had given the 11-point spread, and Franco Harris, with his second touchdown of the game, made the final score 31-19 and reserved for the Steelers their fourth Super Bowl win and a place in pigskin heaven alongside, perhaps above, Vince Lombardi's old Green Bay Packers. The Rams, in their final disguise as representatives of Los Angeles, they moved down the freeway to Anaheim next season, played with great dignity and desire. In the clutch, superior talent won out. We'll have some more of the Sunday sports a little later. Jed?
Thank you, Ray.
Rooney, one of the most liked men in all of sport, and he's about to receive the Vince Lombardi Trophy on behalf of his Pittsburgh Steelers. He is a patriarch in every sense of the word. He's the father of this franchise, and he is a father to the athletes themselves. I can't recall ever seeing so much admiration for the athletes as they have in the town of Pittsburgh for Mr. Arthur Rooney.
Yes, I do.
We have highlights before we go down into the locker room of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Turnovers were a key in the first half of the game. Chuck Noll, as you can see, with Pete Rozelle, the commissioner, and Mike Adamle of NBC, Mr. Rooney. And let's go now to Mike Adamle in the winner's dressing room.
Thank you very much, Dick. Well, I have to pinch myself to see if I'm awake. This is the most amazing time I've ever been involved in. It is my pleasure to introduce the commissioner of the entire National Football League, Mr. Pete Rozelle, and he's got a very special presentation to make.
Mr. Rooney, you've been in the National Football League since 1933. During those 46 years, you've had one of the most popular families in sports. Now, of course, you become the first team to win 3 Super Bowl games. And I know that in addition to your great coach here, Chuck Noll, you must be especially proud to have 2 of your sons, Dan and Art, play such a great job on the management side to help Chuck and this great bunch of football players. Congratulations.
I want to congratulate Chuck Noll and his staff and ball players and my boy Dick, or Danny and Artie. This was a great day. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Coach? Coach? Congratulations, sir. It's my pleasure to work in the locker room.
Good. You know, I said one thing about to our football team after the game, and I sincerely believe it. I don't think we peaked yet. And we're looking forward to even bigger and better things.
Yeah. Congratulations. Back to you, Dick.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers and the faces tell the entire story. The joy of victory. 3 Super Bowl championships. They beat the Cowboys 35-31. Much more for you, including the controversy of the second half of this Super Bowl. We'll return to the Orange Bowl in Miami right after we pause for this word. Well, they popped the balloons at halftime to conclude the ceremonies of those festivities, and they all but popped out the lights on the scoreboard at Miami's Orange Bowl tonight. The highest scoring Super Bowl ever, 35-31. The Pittsburgh Steelers have prevailed over the Dallas Cowboys, but not without some controversy. Let's go to the fourth quarter. At the time, Pittsburgh led by only 4 points, and a drive perhaps stalling when Terry Bradshaw went long to Lynn Swann. Was this interference by number 31, Benny Barnes? They trip over each other, certainly not intentional by Barnes, but ruled a foul. Interference against the Dallas Cowboys sustains the drive. Franco Harris bolts up the middle, and that makes it 28-17 Pittsburgh. The Cowboys think they should have gotten the ball. That should have been an incomplete pass. And then this marvelous catch by Swann, just saying his